So, you need to file a US tax return, but you don't have a social security number. How in the world do you do that? Well, the answer is something called an ITIN, or an individual taxpayer identification number. But getting one? It all boils down to one critical step, proving to the IRS without a shadow of a doubt who you really are. Today, we're going to break down exactly how that identification works. So here's our game plan. First, we'll cover the basics, what an ITN even is. Then we'll dive right into the nitty-gritty, the documents you'll need, the one rule you absolutely cannot break, the 3 different ways you can apply, what goes on behind the scenes after you submit, and finally, the key takeaways to make sure you get it right. All right, so before we jump into the how-to, let's just back up for a second and talk about the what and the why. What exactly is this thing, an ITIN, and what's its whole purpose in the US tax system? Okay, so here's the deal. The IRS came up with the ITIN way back in 1996 for one simple reason: to give people who can't get a social security number a way to follow US tax laws. That's it. It's a tool for tax reporting. It doesn't let you work, it doesn't change your immigration status. Its only job is to help you file your taxes. And hey, here's a quick little tip for you. There's a super simple way to tell an ITIN apart from a social security number. An ITIN always starts with the number 9. It's a small thing, but it's a dead giveaway that the number is just for filing taxes. And that brings us right to the heart of the matter. Since an ITN is an official tax ID, the IRS has to be 100% sure about your identity before they'll give you one. So the big question is, how do you actually do that? How does that verification happen? Okay, let's get down to brass tacks. The whole application process really just comes down to 2 key parts: the official form you have to fill out and the proof you have to show them. This right here is the main form, the W-7. But here's the catch, and this is super important. You can't just send this in by itself. No way. It has to be physically attached to a valid, completely filled out federal income tax return. That's how you show the IRS you need the ITIN for its real purpose, to file your taxes. Now, check this out, because this table tells you a lot about how the IRS looks at this. You have to prove 2 things: your identity, who you are, and your foreign status, which basically means proving you aren't a US citizen. And if you look closely, you'll see a foreign passport is the easy button. It's the only document that does both jobs all by itself. If you don't have a passport, you're going to have to mix and match at least 2 other documents from this list to cover all your bases. But listen up, because this next part is where a ton of applications get rejected. It's not just about what documents you send in, it's about the kind of documents you send. This is a non-negotiable rule, folks. And this makes it crystal clear. The IRS will accept one of 2 things, and that's it: your actual original document, like the real thing, or an official certified copy that you get straight from the agency that first issued it. That means no regular photocopies, and this is a big one, no notarized copies either. A notary stamp doesn't count here. This is a hard and fast rule. All right, so you've got your Form W-7, you've got your tax return, and you've got your original documents ready to go. So, now what? Well, you've got a choice to make, because there are 3 totally different ways to get this whole package over to the IRS. So here are your 3 options. Number 1, you can just put everything in a big envelope, including your original passport, and mail it directly to the IRS. Number 2, you can make an appointment and go in person to an official IRS Taxpayer Assistance Center. Or, option 3, you can work with a certified acceptance agent, or CAA, who's basically a professional authorized by the IRS to verify your documents for you. Now, that first option, mailing your passport, it comes with a pretty significant risk. And this quote from the National Immigration Law Center just hits the nail on the head. Being without your passport for weeks or even months is a really big deal. And that's exactly why so many people start looking at those other options. So how do you get around that risk? Well, this is where those certified acceptance agents, the CAAs, are so incredibly helpful. They are officially authorized by the IRS to look at your original documents, confirm they're legit, and then they send your application on its way without your passport. You get your documents back right then and there. It's a huge deal. Okay, so your application is on its way. You've either mailed it or an agent sent it for you. What happens next? Where does it even go? Let's follow the journey. Believe it or not, every single I-10 application from all over the US and even from other countries all ends up in one specific place: a special unit down at the IRS Processing Center in Austin, Texas. That one team handles everything.
And this right here is exactly why that choice of how to apply matters so much. Right now, it takes about 9 to 11 weeks just to get your ITIN number. But if you mailed in your original passport, it could take up to 14 weeks to get it back. We're talking over 3 months without your most important document.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground, so let's just boil it all down. What are the absolute key things you need to remember to get through this verification process smoothly? So here's the bottom line. First, your W-7 application has to be attached to your tax return, period. Second, you can only use original documents or officially certified copies, no exceptions. Third, a foreign passport is your simplest all-in-one document. And finally, you really have to think hard about whether you're willing to risk mailing your documents versus finding an in-person option like an IRS center or a certified acceptance agent. And hey, if you do end up waiting for your documents or you just have a question about your application, this is the number you need. It's the direct line to that special ITIN unit in Austin. You might want to save this one in your phone. So getting an ITIN is totally doable. But as we've seen, that verification step involves a really critical choice about your most valuable documents. The real question you have to answer is, which path makes the most sense and feels the safest for you? Thanks for tuning in for this explainer.